the gender fluid merfolk post that I saw a week ago or so, maybe, was the idea that, like, merfolk as a species are gender fluid and, like...
Can swap gender based on what's needed for their environment.
Like, what's needed for their environment. So, like, for procreation purposes, if they were to just, like, and, like, being able to shift to full human, they could still do that. If, like, they chose...
That would be cool.
If their chosen partner was just, like, the person they're dating is a man, well, I have female reproductive organs now.
I feel like this is a branch of fan fiction we don't need to get into just yet.
Right. But, like, if they're dating a girl, well, now I have male reproductive organs.
Like whatever is needed to pass on the species.
Some species have both.
Some species have both. Yeah, intersex, very real.
Okay. Posing a new question, do you think it would depend on the species of fish that they're mixed with as to whether or not they could do it?
Probably. Because I'm sure the adaptability changes through generations if it's going based off of, IRL.
Maybe. Like, the rest of that post, it was less about, like, who you were dating. It was more like, oh, you invite your mer friend to a party. They see that there are more guys there than girls, so they're like, oh, don't worry, I'll even it out. And they just turn into a girl right there, and everyone else is like, what the fuck just happened?
That would be neat.
Yeah. But they just think they're being considerate and keeping everything balanced.
So wait, what have we decided about the Little Mermaid universe?
That we're not sure how they do it, or...
Well, thanks. I don't care how they procreate. I care about the situation for the kids being born. Like, are they born as eggs? Are they born live birth?
I don't know. My curiosity at first was like, how do babies happen? But then I was like, how do
babies happen for fish?
How do sex happen?
But you don't want to go there.
It's different depending on the type of fish.
Yeah.
Or a sea creature, we'll say, because, like not all of them have to be fish.
And then, like, I want to know what mating strategies they have. You know how some birds be like, hey, girl, I can dance.
They go...
They do. Like, the male peacocks, they're like, look at these pretty feathers. Or then, like, if they're bucks, they're like, they have little antlers.
Yeah.
They're antlers. And then they scruff them against trees to make them really strong and sharp. And then they run up to another dude with antlers.
I thought they scruffed them against trees to get rid of the velvet.
I mean, yeah, that too. But they also like to make them strong and pointy for battle.
Okay.
During mating season, at least, they want to make sure that their antlers are the best, so that they can have the best chance of getting the lady. Because the lady's gonna be like, "Oh my, you can protect my family."
Oh, so strong.
And then he's gonna
survivability.
Yeah,
like,
he's big and strong because he's eating all that corn that everybody's feeding him. I'm sorry.
Anyways, fish. How they procreate definitely depends on the fish.
Okay.
I know the red dragonette, the men all fight for the nearest female, and the man that fights and gets to the female first gets to procreate, and they go in like these little geyser bubbles, and they go, ooh, and then like the eggs are put in like the little thing, and they like in like the jet stream or whatever, and like they go just sailing on, and that cycle continues until the red dragonettes die. They don't watch their young or anything; they're just washed away into the stream to hatch, and then go on.
So wait, they procreate until they die?
Like, they procreate, and then they go... Okay. Like, there's a mating season.
Okay.
Like, there's a mating season. They don't just procreate until they die.
This
isn't fruit flies.
Yeah, you knew what I meant.
This isn't fruit flies. This is like, they have a mating season. But during that mating season, they will have many, 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 many different partners. And many eggs will just go down the currents to eventually hatch.
Okay.
Into which they have no parental guidance, because they're fish.
So, Ruby... Chen and I had this conversation, so we're gonna just pick your brain on this for a minute.
Okay.
If a mermaid is half, I don't know, sea turtle, does it still count as a mermaid, or is it then a centaur because it has 4 legs?
I think it depends on where the 50% of the sea turtle goes in the anatomy.
You could like those posts of mermaids where it's like the bottom half is human and the top half is a fish head.
Yeah, it's like I need to know if this is like the headless horseman or like...
No, this is just
is this turtle head or is this...
This is generic, person was chopped off at the waist and then their body was stuck onto the most body of a turtle.
Like out of the neck hole, I guess.
Yeah. So first of all, it's the stuff of nightmares. You saw that climbing.
I think it needs to be its own species at that point.
I think... Like, because sea turtle, like, insinuates it is a water-based turtle.
It is, a sea turtle.
It's a sea turtle. Given that it's water-based and, like, is in the sea, that could be more towards like mer creature or whatever. But if it was like the land-based turtle, it would be a centaur.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
if it's sea-based, it's a mer. Land-based, centaur.
On the topic of the centaur mermaid bullshit, if everything else depends on the type of fish, does that mean the lifespan also depends on the type of fish?
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, humans die out at a certain age. Like there's an age range where they die out.
Projected lifespan.
And
that has been getting steadily higher and higher.
But there are some types of fish that can live for God knows how long.
Some turtles live like 500 years.
So, like, does that mean their human half looks like it's 500 years old? And if so, is that just underwater leather?
Yeah, I was about to say, you know how like we stay in the bath too long. I'm sure, depending on when the hybrid started, the evolution of it probably adapted to the darkness, which is confusing because if you're deep down in the water, most of the time you're not going to have much light. So I was confused of the pale skin thing. I think the texture would be much like a shark.
I've never touched a shark. It's on my bucket list.
Cartilage.
Rough leather.
Have you touched a shark?
Yeah.
Grab that couch. Right there.
Shark!
I mean...
That, but like in the water.
Yeah.
That,
it's
but
more like
that, but water.
rigid to me.
Maybe a bit like stiffer.
Mm-hmm. Wet, callous.
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
What did you mean by pale skin confusing you in the deep sea?
No. I think it was less that pale skin wouldn't confuse in the deep sea. Because there's less light, you're likely to be more pale.
Oh. Is that what you meant? The look on your face said no.
No, I don't know. I guess it would depend on which continent it would be on.
It would depend on the continent, and it would also depend on how deep in the sea.
Are you talking about, like, racially?
Yeah.
Oh. No, I think they have their whole, ass other race underwater.
Like Avatar type shit. Have you seen the new Avatar?
I have not seen the new Avatar, but I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah.
I haven't seen the new one. I saw the first one when it came out in theaters over a decade ago.
My brain says
Thanks, just date us like that.
My brain says it's like a grayish blue skin tone.
Well, it could be...
Think of like the shark people from Zelda.
You know those fish that their skin is translucent and you just see their bones?
Yeah.
Like baby raviolis. You know.
Please.
That would be wild, though, to see, like...
Okay, have you seen it? Have you seen them before?
Yeah, we went to the aquarium together.
Yeah.
Baby ravioli.
It's been some years, but I have.
But, like
a mermaid, but it's one of the transparent fish.
I don't know, because
would
you
it
have,
make-
like, bioluminescent fish.
Yes.
My brain says that.
In the event that you are a mermaid, does your skin tone rely on your environment or your type of fish?
Yes.
What?
I think both. I think
Yeah.
both.
I think both would be enough, would affect it. Like, we have seen so much fan art from artists drawing people as a particular type of mermaids. And
I'm still struggling.
because a lot of it is based on interpretation.
Right.
Because it's folklore.
Can we talk about angler mer for a moment? Because you know how anglerfish procreate, right?
No.
The male, the significantly smaller male of the anglerfish, attaches itself to the female's body and assimilates. It becomes part of it. It dies, and its body just becomes part of the female. Can we imagine a fucking anglerfish lady with her, 15 dead boyfriends' corpses hanging off her body?
Yes. And then she's putting lipstick on in the mirror.
Oh, God. I haven't drawn that yet. That's not something I had planned.
She has a vanity.
Oh, she is just... That's what Ursula
It's a
should have
vanity,
been.
but it's
Ursula
built
should have
from,
been anglerfish.
The vanity's built from the bones for dead boyfriends.
Oh my God, everything in her little
Her
anglerfish
bedroom,
houses.
her headboard.
Do they have houses? Do they build structures or do they find structures as mer people? Because in The Little Mermaid specifically, they build structures. They have structures. Since everything else that we've answered is yes, does deep sea gigantism affect mermaids? Yeah, the deeper into the ocean you get, the bigger everything gets? Does that happen with mermaids?
Yeah, that is just the Texas of mermaids. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Is mermaid restricted to just fish? Or can it be any aquatic creature? So, like, if you got shrimp mermaid, whale mermaid, like...
Yeah, I'm willing to believe there's, like, a big fish
crab.
down there.
This is a crab, a mermaid, or a centaur.
Probably more centaur.
I'm sure
but,
there's
like,
actually a half crab monster. One moment for the Googles.
Now I just really want to find, like, I want it to be them looking for sharks, but it's this massive mermaid.
It's like you see, like, the fins, and you're like, what? And then there's more.
Uh-huh. You thought it was their home, but really it's just their mother lord.
I'm thinking, like, straight up Steven Universe. All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman. But, like, I'm thinking of giant merfolk in the ocean.
I have an answer on the half crab, half human.
Alright.
It is a centaur. First of all, Google agrees, but it's called a Krakeno centaur?
Okay. Because it has more than 4 legs.
That was not specified, just that it's half crab, half human. And that doesn't make sense to me because the kraken is a fucking squid. It is a cephalopod.
I love krakens. From afar.
Why wasn't it like crustaceo centaur?
Bitch,
Probably
did you just
has
cast
to-
a spell on me?
It probably...
Crustaceo centaur. And then there was a shit ton of crabs.
And then they're like, me money, Squidward. I love him.
Money!
I wish I had like a conch shell and like 2 little sticks so I could just...
Oh,
just
God.
these little footsteps. Alright, I think that was all my mermaid questions. Does anyone else have any mermaid questions?
I do wonder how their hair looks so nice, considering it's sopping wet.
Have you ever seen underwater photography?
Yes.
And how the hair is always like, it's like a little cloud?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. That's what I'm kind of imagining.
Yeah, I don't look like that underwater.
I feel like mermaids probably care way less about brushing their hair.
I feel like if
They're
everything
dingle
else
hoppers.
depends on their type of fish, I think the texture and control of their hair does too.
Yeah.
What if it's not actual hair? What if it's like those little spiny things that you get on the back of fish?
Yeah,
Like
what
the fins?
if they're electrical?
What if it's just fin?
That would be neat.
Yeah, and it'll help them
What if
glide.
mermaids can't grow hair? Like, what if they just don't get it? It's
It's
just
hard-
scales.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't
Like-
have much keratin over the adaptability.
But like beta fish, but like their long flowy tails, like and fins. It's
I've
just
drawn a mermaid like that before.
Instead, it's on
I think
the-
it would be like a fin type that would help them glide with swimming.
What would they call it? There's a cranial fin.
probably a cranial fin.
You
Yeah,
got a ventral fin, a dorsal fin, a tail fin, a cranial fin.
or like that can. It's like kind of like collapsible. Like you know how like the back fin goes, but like it can be like just like this, but then like fan out. And then, like
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, especially if they're pissed off.
Are their fingers webbed?
I would think so.
I would think so too.
Do they have fingers, or do they just have like little, like they have like a thumb kind of thing and then like fin,
I would think that they would have.
like seals?
Yeah, I think they would have like an in between. They probably wouldn't have as much movement as we do, or
Less-
monkeys. But
Let's find dexterity.
yeah, I do think they would have something similar, not just one giant fin.
But I don't think they'd have one giant fin. I think they'd have like for the human part, they would like have
Like
like
webbed fingers.
the phalanges. That's what fingers and toes are called.
I don't think they have the toe part, but yeah.
They wouldn't have the toe part, but I think they would have like the hand part, like this.
All right.
But I think it would move differently.
Okay.
And since they wouldn't really have like high keratin,
They don't really have nails, right?
they wouldn't really have nails. But a lot of people do draw mer creatures with claws.
Are those claws like the spiny bits in their
But I don't know if the claws are.
fins?
I don't know if they are drawn meant to be that way. It's just like I don't know where like the claws came from on that one.
Someone said this looks cool and they did it, and now we have that as a headcanon.
But like in reading and watching, like some things like generally the claws are used to help open like clams and oysters
As an evolutionary trait.
as an evolutionary trait. That doesn't answer what it's made out of, but like, what if it's less?
What if it's just exposed bone, kind of like teeth?
Could be it.
That's
Yeah,
a good point.
finger teeth.
I
Oh.
Hate that image.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my
She
God.
says confidently, finger teeth.
No thanks.
And then my brain said, oh, we taste our bones.
All the calcium in the world.
I want this image out of my head.